a street-going version of a super speedway flyer on Muscle Car of the Week. Today, the sight of a giant wing and a pointy nose on a 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona makes muscle car fans tremble with excitement, but it wasn't always that way. Believe it or not, Dodge dealers had a hard time selling these cars when they were new. Today, we tend to think that the late 1960s and early 70s were a crazy time with bright colors and wild designs, but these cars stood out from the norm even back then. So, what is the deal with these winged warriors? And how did they go from being goofy-looking showroom oddities to highly prized collectibles today? I guess the first question is, just what are these cars, and how did they come to be? Dodge wanted to come up with every possible advantage to go faster in NASCAR racing, so they came up with the aerodynamic nose cone and the big wing and a few other tricks that we see on this car. The problem is that in order to use those tricks, they had to have a street-going version of the same car for sale to the general public. That's what we see here today with this Dodge Daytona. NASCAR racing was insanely popular in 1969, and the cars were getting faster and faster. And Dodge had an ace in the hole with the 426 Hemi V-8 and all the power that they made. However, Dodge engineers were learning about the benefits of aerodynamics and how you could go faster with less power if your car knew how to cooperate with the wind. Today we see modern cars with slippery profiles, but that was not the case back in 1969. Dodge spent significant time in the wind tunnel developing add-ons for the Charger platform that allowed it to cheat the wind, including a pointy bullet-shaped nose cone with retractable headlights, a lower air dam, air ducts on the fender tops, slippery windshield trim around the A-pillar, a smoothed-out rear window treatment, and the most obvious addition was the high-mounted horizontal stabilizer, referred to as the wing. In racing trim, these innovations added to a 426 Hemi-powered Charger made for a wicked fast ride on the super speedways. The nose helped smooth the hole punched in the wind and also worked to create downforce on the track. The rear wing was also used to create downforce, but it did help in high-speed stability with the vertical airplane tail-like stabilizers. However, the fender scoops have been the subject of speculation since they first appeared. The actual NASCAR race car sat much lower than the street version, so some speculate that this fender exhauster, as they were called, was needed to give the tire clearance so that the front tire wouldn't hit the top of the inner fender. They conveniently hid a hole underneath that scoop on the race car version for clearance. On the street car version, it's obvious that the tire will never go up inside that scoop and hit the top of the fender, but all the elements from the race car had to be present in the street car to make it legal for racing. Not all these Daytonas were Hemi-powered cars. In fact, most of them weren't. This one has a 440 cubic inch Magnum V8 and a single 4-barrel, and it's hooked up to an automatic transmission. The Street 440 was no slouch, churning up 375 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque in an extremely reliable cast-iron 10-to-1 compression engine. On the street, many feel the 440 was a better engine than the Hemi because the 4-barrel carb was much more street-friendly than the two 4-barrels on the Hemi. Many 440 cars were actually faster on the drag strip as well. Inside, most Daytonas were bench seat column shift cars, but ours features black bucket seats and a TorqueFlite automatic shifter sticking out of the console. In order for the radically shaped race car to be legal in NASCAR, Dodge had to sell at least 500 versions to consumers. And when you're selling just shy of 50,000 1969 Chargers, 500 of the special street versions seems like a pretty easy sale. But in truth, people didn't line up around the Dodge dealer to get their hands on a new Charger Daytona. The 426 Hemi cars were very expensive on their own, and when you added the Daytona package, you really boosted the bottom line. and car insurance companies were happy to jack up the monthly premiums on these high-risk cars. But this car, with its 440, was a little less of an investment than the Hemi, but still kind of a hard sell at the dealership. But not so today. These Daytonas stand tall, and not just because they have a giant wing on the back. We thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day so we could show it to you. If you like what you see here, go to MuscleCarOfTheWeek.com for more videos, including another one of these cars from the Brothers collection. See you next time.